Welcome to Not So New News, where we discover what is hidden in the newspapers from 100 years ago. Today's article comes from the town of Whitesburg and appeared in Letcher County's oldest newspaper, the Mountain Eagle. Volume 2, number 18, dated December 31st, 1908. This reading is from the writings done in 1908. These views are from that time period and do not necessarily reflect the modern views of Kentucky Tennessee living nor its narrator. However, we feel that all historical documents must be preserved for the future and strive not to change one word of the reading. However, if we feel that the readings are too controversial in political or religious standing, we will either silently put the article up for viewing or will direct everyone to where it can be found online. Thank you for your understanding. All advertisements are read from the Mountain Eagle in the year it was printed. Kentucky Tennessee Living does not endorse any product that is listed in the pages. However, for historical purposes, they are read and kept intact. Echoes from Religious Fields. Armenia's Fighting Parson. Heroic Conduct of Monsignor Koren during the Turkish massacres. Recent telegraphic news from the Caucasus has told of the redoubled activities of the police and gendarmes in the turbulent section of the Russian Empire. A telegram from Elizabeth Pole announces that the Armenian district of that city was searched, and stories of hidden arms and ammunition were discovered. And the Armenian Archimandrite, Monsignor Koren, was arrested with several other ecclesiastics. This high prelate is a typical fighting parson of the Orient. When the Turks and Tartars attacked their peaceful Armenian neighbors, the latter were taken unawares and a general stampede followed. Whole villages and townships were burned, sacked, and pillaged, and the defenseless Christian inhabitants were tortured, looted, and massacred. The population appealed to the Tsar for protection, but the Russian Chinovniks persisted in ordering the police and Cossacks to look on placidly and allow the carnage and destruction to go on unchecked. During these desperate struggles, many a priest and archimandrite of the Armenian Church proved himself a hero and patriot. Amongst them, says the Christian Herald, was Monsignor Koren, wearing the furry cap and cloak of a Cossack, as well as the long dagger and curving sword. His chest covered with rows of cartridges belts, and the jeweled cross of his clerical rank suspended from the collar. He was always in the thickest of the fight. Sometimes hamlets and villages were left in charge of the young Armenian women, who, when their homes were attacked, would arm themselves with guns and, under the leadership of the parish priests, make a heroic defense. Archimandrite Koren, it is said, has always been a staunch, loyal subject of the Tsar, and could not be implicated in any political plot against his sovereign. A man to be reckoned with, the Protestant foreign missionary, a powerful factor in the world's development. There are now 18,591 Protestant foreign missionaries in non-Christian lands, and the Christians of Europe and America gave last year for their maintenance and of that of the churches, schools, hospitals, printing presses, and other work under their care, $21,280,147. The stations and outstations occupied aggregate 3,748. The number of definitely known adult converts and adherents is already 6,202,631 and is rapidly increasing. An enterprise so vast in itself, representing such a great constituency of intelligent people in Europe and America, and recognized by the governments of the world as a force of the first magnitude, challenges the attention of all thoughtful persons. The missionary who incarnates this enterprise is therefore a man to be reckoned with in dealing with the phenomena of our age. It is he of whom we instinctively think when the subject is mentioned, he who does the actual missionary work, whose support is the largest single item of missionary expenditure, whose wisdom or folly is the chief human factor in the success or failure of the missionary movement, and whose character and methods are the objects of the sharpest criticism. Arthur J. Brown. Good work in India. Reverend Albert E. Ayers writes from India about the Methodist mission in Karachi, a city of about 100,000 inhabitants. Quote, the native work is carried on chiefly among the Sindhis, Punjabis, and Gujaratis. Side note, our apologies if we mispronounce these names. Who form the mass of the population? Our native pastor has to preach in 4 of the native languages, and is fairly familiar with English also. I lately baptized 73 in the mission. In the city and vicinity are many inquirers, and if we are to baptize on this circuit alone, from present indications, we need at least a half a dozen new men to look properly after the work in the city and suburbia. A member of the English church in Karachi has lately given $1,000 for the native church. Unquote. For Chinese women, the Empress Dowager and the Emperor of China have appropriated 100,000 taels, about $35,000 in gold, for the establishment of a female seminary in Peking, with Princess Su as the superintendent. The Peking Women's News, a daily newspaper for women of China, edited by a Chinese woman, says, quote, to have strong, healthy men, China must have strong, healthy mothers. Hence, foot binding must go, physical culture must be encouraged, and hygiene taught. In order that China's men may be equal of other nations, their training must begin at home. Hence, schools for girls and lecture halls for women must be established. Unquote. Beware of those who are always chanting pagings to sincerity. The trouble with us all is that we write our woes in indelible ink and our ideas in water. The mother who hushes her boy too often will ask them in vain to speak when they are older. The most popular persons have the wit not to be too wise, and the wisdom not to be too witty. Minnesota Thomas Altrium, The Sunday Magazine. When a country becomes civilized, it demands typewriters. When it becomes posted on the commercial values, it demands the Smith Premier typewriter. The fact that the Smith Premier typewriter is used in every civilized country on the globe is not so important as the further fact that the demand increases year after year. The reputation of the Smith Premier is worldwide. Worldwide use has made it so. The Smith Premier Typewriter Company, 516 Main Street, Cincinnati, Ohio. This concludes today's reading of the December 31st, 1908 Mountain Eagle. We at Kentucky Tennessee Living would like to thank you for your continued support as we bring to you the history of the Appalachian Mountains.